Welcome to another edition of Len's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. Before I bring on my guest for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. Well, it's that time of the year again where Americans, we love a great display of lights and boom together. Yes, happy Independence Day, happy birthday, America, the fireworks displays. So if you've been listening to me for a year, I am very sorry. Or if you just stumbled upon my show, welcome. 1 year ago, episode 12 with Chelsea, I talked about my severe disdain or just the lack of understanding why fireworks displays are so widely attended and they loved, and I just don't understand, especially the ones that occur before the 4th of July, way before the 4th of July. I also thought it's a huge waste of money, and to be honest, each year looks very familiar from the previous one. You could honestly just play a video from last year and most people wouldn't know the difference. But as America turns 245 years old, and I am, of course, a year older as well, I think I'm possibly softening up a bit. I have figured out why I am not a fan or have not been a fan. You know, maybe when I was younger, I liked it a lot better. But first of all, of course, is age, right? The second thing I think of, I was spoiled as a kid where I grew up. In New York, every July 4th, Macy's has their annual fireworks display on the river, and Rossi does it. Plus, I was also a kid on America's 200th birthday. Yes, I'm old. The bicentennial, which was an awesome time to see great fireworks. Now, of course, there certainly must be something to it, as the Rossi family has been doing it since 1895, and they have a staff of, get this, 400 people. And according to their website, they ask, again, the following questions. Why are fireworks so mesmerizing? Is it the surprise of sudden sparks, the heart-skipping beat of suspense between the first flash and the final bang, the radiant color, the light, the noise? What is it, right? Or perhaps it's the people we watch the fireworks with, the traditions, the togetherness to commemorate the passage of time and the power of community. They also say Rossi's famous fireworks harnesses the irresistible magic of fireworks. For 5 generations, they've created the award-winning pyrotechnic that is, displays that highlight the impeccable craftsmanship. So obviously, those are amazing. So I think it's hard to get up for a local fireworks display when you've already witnessed the best. Now, the local guys lighting one thing off at a time, I think I'm still going to pass on that. I mean, I really don't have any use for that. But even on Len's Burning Bush, I can change my views a bit. I even went to a friend's display last weekend. Yes, a week before 4th of July. Last weekend, it was very well done. And now this weekend, I'm actually going to sit through the neighborhood display and try not to be sarcastic. I'm going to try with the oohs and the ahs. I still think we could just each year replay the last one. But that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. She is one part of the successful morning team of Jim and Amanda on Warm 98 FM in Cincinnati, airing from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. weekdays. She is making her second appearance on Len's Burning Bush. Let's welcome the lovely and very talented Amanda Orlando to Len's Burning Bush. Amanda, welcome. And what is your take on the fireworks displays? I know you watch them, we all do, but what is your take?
Well, I think you covered a lot of bases there, Len, and I agree with a lot of what you say. For years, every year though, I enjoyed a good fireworks display. And for me, and I don't know, is this more for women than for men? For me, fireworks are romantic. Like the years I didn't have a significant other to watch the fireworks with, I was like really sad and lonely. Like the fireworks made me lonelier because I didn't have that romantic partner to watch with. So I don't know. Is that a girl thing you think, or?
I know I don't care about the romanticism, so it's got to be.
Right, well, yeah, you're
But
asking the wrong guy.
yeah, you're
Actually.
talking to the wrong. Yeah, no, but no, I get that. I think that I never really thought about it that way, and this is great because I just look at it as it looks pretty close to what last year's are. I don't know why, we keep doing it, and obviously there's 400 people working at Rossi that just it proves that people want it, right? They're gonna continue to do it every year, whether I like it or not. But my point was, can we just put a screen in the neighborhood and just play and put music? Isn't that what we like anyway? The music and what it looks like, or do we need to see it up in the sky?
You gotta see it in the sky. I think the TV, like seeing it in one dimension like that would ruin it. And I don't know why. This is what I like. My favorite parts of the fireworks is like if I can lie down in the grass and watch them, they feel like they're falling on top of you. I love being that close and having that sensation when they drop down. And I've seen. Did you know that Coney Island is, or they didn't do it these past 2 years, but they usually do a fireworks competition with countries from all over the world, and I've been able to be a judge. Not that I'm qualified. And some of them were just absolutely spectacular. We just like brightly colored lights. We just do. Um, I remember coming home from the Blue Ash fireworks 2 years ago, and we were 40 minutes away from home, and all the way home, Lynn, there were fireworks all over the sky, like everywhere we turned. It was kind of like being in the Revolutionary War without all the killing,
Yeah.
except for the people that didn't run away fast enough when they lit them. But otherwise, it was just spectacular to see the whole sky lit with all those colors. It was awesome.
And there's the romanticism of it again,
Yeah.
and that's something I really never really thought of. So you educated me today, which is always good to get educated and to learn and to find out why people like it. Because again, I was always it's coming up again, and we'll watch it and ooh and ah, right? It looks great. I don't understand the M80s and the loud booms. I never understood that. But
You know what I just learned? I was having a conversation with somebody who had been over in Europe and Japan, and they said they actually put the booms in here. And over in Europe, when they do it, if they're doing it for an audience that has Americans in it, they like we put the booms in for the Americans. They like that stuff. So apparently, you don't have to be so boomy about it. You can like do silent or relatively silent fireworks without all the crackling and stuff, which I hope that becomes a trend because I'm a dog owner
yes,
and this is a nightmare time of year for us. And so apparently so is June and August,
yeah.
late August.
They like blowing stuff up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. And you're right about the dogs. And in Italy, there is a company that actually does silent fireworks. And we talked about this last year about the fact that they do it with just the light, the lights and how that works and all of the good stuff. So it is definitely something that I can warm to. But would you agree that I might have been spoiled because where I grew up, that I just saw such
Oh,
great fireworks every year?
yeah, no, I'm envious.
Yeah.
And you might have been because once you see the best, then the others like, ah. But then, Len, you don't want to be that annoying person at your neighborhood fireworks show. Turn to the guy every year and say, I saw the bicentennial, and this is crap.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try so hard this year. I really am. I've been very good. I went last week to a friend's, and they did a really good job of lighting off fireworks, and we just sat in their back. We didn't go right near it. We just watched it from the backyard and got to see it in like you said, just kind of seeing it in the sky, and that's a good thing. And normally I would be in my pool and watch it. And this year I might go over, where they're lighting it off. It's really a good show. He does it every other year in our neighborhood, but they all try. See, the problem I have is that once you have a guy that does it really well and he only wants to do it every other year, you'll have the next year where that in between year where there's always somebody thinking they can do a better job, and I just don't have any use for that.
Right. You should get your neighbor that T-shirt. Run if you see me run,
Yes.
because then that something goes wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody stay safe. We want everybody, to have what was it, John Pierre Paul, who lit off his fingers. You don't ever want that situation. So of course there's always these people that light them off and they get hurt. We certainly don't want that. We want you to be safe, and we want you to be on a blanket enjoying the sky, and like Amanda says, be romanticized about the fact that it's a beautiful thing. It's nice to look at, right?
They're pretty. They're pretty.
Look at
Yeah.
the colors. Look at
Yeah.
the colors.
It's just, I don't know. It's like, I mean, how many baseball games have you seen? And they're not all going to be the greatest baseball game, but they're still fun to go to. Um, I don't know. And I think maybe for fireworks that do seem like it's the same thing every year, it is the people that you're watching it with.
Yep.
Like it is the shared experience with who you are with and how it accompanies whatever it is that you're doing at the time. So I think. Oh, can you hear my dog?
Yeah, love it, love it. There's a go. But they're going to be excited tonight, and we got to make sure they have medicine. Do they have medicine tonight?
I did not get medicine. One of my dogs is fine. The other one, we just realized. So she has been not herself the last 2 weeks, and it started to have physical repercussions, and I won't go into that. So I took her to the vet, got her some medicine to calm her insides, and the vet was like, oh, "This is the third dog this week we have seen with all these symptoms." Well, I went home and I looked up all of her symptoms, which include hiding under random pieces of furniture and breathing heavily. She's afraid. It's fear, and it's causing some physical issues. And it's fear because randomly people will just light off a firecracker when she's outside. And so now she's afraid of firecrackers. I'm on the west side, so right now we have a lot of airplane activity, motorcycles, this pickup truck that goes by our house every day with a muffler that sounds like he's about to explode. Like, she is petrified. So yeah, now I'm gonna. My cousin's actually visiting right now, and she's looking up Pinterest ideas since I didn't order a little thunder jacket. I guess you could make one out of an ace bandage.
Wow.
I could hook her up in a walk-in closet with a sound machine and a bed. I don't know. I'm trying to find ways to protect her on the fourth, but
Well, I hope it works out because my wife does. She's a vet tech and she knows all about stuff and make sure our dog has a little bit of medicine because years go by and they get worse. They
yes,
don't get better. So if everybody
yeah, yeah,
they don't like it. If they don't like it when they're younger, they're not going to like it when they're older. Think about us. We don't like a lot of things when we're older, right?
yeah, especially you, Len.
I don't like a lot. But one thing I do like is you talked about this last year when you were on. I like the White Claw slushies, and we did make them in honor of you. And
Oh,
we did make them, and I wanted to see if there was any, kind of update to the White Claw slushies from last year, and if you had any advice for this party this year with what
you
we could
know,
drink.
I totally forgot about my White Claw slushies. I haven't had any this summer, so I haven't updated them at all. Um, oh, but my sister made a drink. What was in that? Oh my gosh. She made this frozen, because we have that margarita machine. She made this frozen. I normally don't like peach flavored anything, but it was like peach and wine, and I don't know what it was, but it was, I'll have to get the recipe for you, Lynn.
Oh,
Uh,
I would love it.
Flippin' If only I can remember what was in it. It was only two ingredients.
You know,
And I,
when we were in Italy and they had, I guess it was a Bellini type, right? They had some kind
okay.
of Bellini, and you made me think of that. That would be a good frozen drink, also.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
Bel-
I'm writing. Look, I got my pad of paper.
I love it.
Celine, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission now. You're giving me a mission to find. I'm looking for. I just like. So we had this frozen margarita machine, but I hate making frozen drinks. And like we hosted my son's baseball team 2 weeks ago. My husband's like, "Come up with a frozen drink you can make." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna be at the margarita machine the whole day. I don't want to be making 20 margaritas." Um, so I just
Yeah.
like. Oh, I'm looking for a two ingredient frozen beverage that's awesome.
Well, apparently, I think in northern Kentucky, and I don't know where it is. I was talking with a few friends yesterday about it. We had bourbon slushies yesterday, which is actually
Ooh,
very good.
yeah.
But there is a bar that just serves frozen drinks in either Covington or somewhere. I have to look it up as well, but it just made me think of it. And I thought, like, how great is this? They've got frozen drinks, and I think they're only about $12. It's like two. They call it like 2 ounces or whatever of liquor, and it would be the equivalent of like a double, I guess. And
Right. Right.
and they put it in, and they make these frozen drinks. The one thing I thought of, and of course I'm always thinking about money, is how they make money the rest of the year because not everybody wants to drink frozen drinks in the middle of December, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
guess they change over. Maybe they do something. But frozen drinks are awesome. I love it, and anything frozen. I saw popsicles now that contain alcohol. Years ago, I actually came up with the idea, or at least thought I did, of the adult juice bags that had the
Oh.
frozen, like the drinks. And of course, Seagram's or somebody came up with it after. But I never follow through on my great ideas. And that, to me, when you're at a sporting event, right, and you're sitting there with a juice bag, it looks like you're drinking a juice bag, and you're actually, tying one
Oh,
on at your kid's ball game.
that's your next brilliant idea, Len. You have to.
You
You have to get a patent and then do a podcast and see if anybody knows how to develop that.
Exactly.
Great.
I need to come on. I need to, make sure I follow through on these things. Speaking of following through, apparently Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton are getting married this weekend.
That's what I hear.
And I'm just like thinking, why? What, what are they doing?
I yeah, yeah, because as regular people,
Yeah.
we might need another person to hook ourselves with to be more financially secure. But yes, when these famous people who are really rich in their own individual rights, why? Yeah, I don't know why they get married because it seems like more and more. I'm married, so I don't want to be like a downer on marriage. More and more, the likelihood of being a celebrity with their own money is very, very high that your marriage is not going to last.
Yeah, they got apparently got their marriage license Tuesday in Oklahoma, according to the Johnson County court clerk. Now, why is this information public? Somebody had to leak it. It's like, I guess somebody at the court clerk just decided, hey, Blake Shelton was in here today. Let's get information about their wedding coming up, the nuptials. But I think they're just going to get married this weekend. I don't know if it's like a big ceremony. I think it's going to be at Blake's ranch in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and they have like a ton of activities and stuff planned. And they took the ring for a test run a couple of weeks ago, and she was wearing the wedding band, and the paparazzi went crazy. Everybody thought they got married without telling anybody, and they were just messing with people, which is so Blake. I've known Blake for like 20 years before he. That's really dating myself. Way when he had 3 or 4 hits under his belt, and he co-hosted the morning show with me at the time for 4 hours, and then afterwards we just went into the production room and made a fake behind the music like a VH1 used to do.
Oh, I love that.
Laughing our butts off. He is ridiculous, just out there, ridiculously funny, and that is just Blake, 24/7. As I see why she's marrying him, he is a hoot. Like, why wouldn't you want to make sure he ties himself to you the rest of your life, because he is going to be a blast. But where was I going with this, Len? See, ADD.
Yeah,
no. I just think that they're going to have a really great time. It would not surprise me if they were doing like a hunt on his property as part of their wedding activity for the weekend. Like if the bridesmaids were dressed in camouflage, it would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, that would not be anything that I would do in a wedding. But hey, to each his own. Everybody has their own idea. And I would take it that since you're here, that you didn't get the invitation to Oklahoma this weekend.
I did not get the invite. I'm super disappointed that he does not consider us good friends like I do.
Well, I would think he does. He has to, because knowing Amanda Orlando, you get the same feeling. And I'm sure he remembers you thoroughly. So there you go. One other thing on this 4th of July weekend, we talked about the people getting married. We actually have Kelly Clarkson, who is actually getting rid of her.
Yes.
She's, what is that saying? Getting rid of 200 pounds of whatever, I guess. But she's getting rid of her husband this weekend. She's getting a head start. She's filing her own independence from her estranged husband. So Brandon Blackstock has challenged their prenup, claiming it's invalid. Of course he did, right?
Yeah, I wonder, does it say what grounds? I hadn't heard this.
Let's see. I don't know. She just says that it seems to be there won't be an issue over custody and spousal support. The judge awarded Kelly primary physical custody on a temporary basis, but there's nothing in here about, it just says she's filing independence. She filed legal docs asking the judge to officially grant requests for divorce, leaving other issues like money and child custody for another day. So I don't know. It just seems there's a lot to be filled in here, but I would think they're not happy, right?
I just, what it's so sad is before they announced, I think a month before they announced the divorce, I think he had posted a picture of him and the kids and for her birthday and was like, we love you, I love you. And she was working in one city and they were at their place in like Wyoming or wherever they have their place. And it's just, this one's kind of sad to me because she was like, she met Reba McEntire on American Idol when she was a contestant. They became really good friends. She met Reba's husband. What was his name? Narvel. What was his name? And this is his son. So it's Reba's stepson that she ended up marrying. And they just seemed like a really cool family. And they mixed business with family because I think Brandon's father and Reba managed Kelly. So I think he feels like he's due some of the money. that she was making, but that should be a separate, not a marital. I don't know. That seems to be a separate business deal. But it's hard when you mix family and finances that way.
Agreed. Agreed. It's never, never good to mix it that way. But sorry to hear about Kelly Clarkson not making it. But good luck to Blake and Gwen Stefani, no doubt. Right.
No doubt.
I'll be here all the
I'm
week.
wondering,
Make sure
is
you.
Kelly going to their wedding? It seems really ironic.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I would think she would get invited. But
Yeah. She's obviously a better friend.
yeah. Speaking of getting invited, you think Adam Levine gets invited?
Sure.
All right. They're still friendly.
Yeah, I think they're totally great friends. Yes, like I'm in the know.
Well, good. Now we are getting a little old. Of course, you're not, but I am, as you know. And I don't know if you saw as a kid,
Yeah.
as a kid, Willy Wonka, the movie, right? Do you know that it just celebrated its 50th year? So it debuted in 1971 on June 30th. And it's kind of interesting that there was talk. Now, in the movie, of course, there was Mike TV, right? That was, so he was played by Paris Themin. I think hope I'm pronouncing it right. Paris actually appeared on Jeopardy a few years ago, which was kind of interesting. But Paris apparently was a brat, is what Gene Wilder had said. Gene Wilder apparently there's some documentation, and Mike TV said that Themin actually saw Gene Wilder in a back room somewhere and said, "Hi, Gene, how you doing? I'm Paris Themin. I was Mike TV and Willy Wonka." And he said, "Oh, you were the brat." You were a brat. So he is labeled as the brat of the Mike TV. Now, of course, that to me is the original and the best Willy Wonka. Now, I know Johnny Depp did one recently, but that was a little creepy. Am I right? Did you see
I
that?
did not like that.
No.
I did not like that take, but I think it's closer to the actual book version.
Yes. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. But I did not like it because, like you, the classic to me is the Gene Wilder movie. Yes. And certain movies I would, as an actor, not touch because you're never going to be compared in a good light after you've done it.
Exactly.
So you have to decide if the money is worth it to you.
There's a lot of great lines in that movie too. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Yeah. He says a lot of things and just kind of, and there's some errors in it. He plays a little tune and she goes, Rachmaninoff. And of course that was not, I don't know who it was, but it wasn't Rachmaninoff. There was a lot of different things. It's like a vermicious Knish. And it's kind of, you'll get one. Do you want one? A Snallsberry. I like the Snallsberry.
Oh, I like you say it. Yes.
Yeah, Snallsberry. But I do like the movie is just wonderful, and I had my kids watch it. I remember getting, back when we used to get DVDs, right? Now you could stream everything, but I had the DVD for the kids, and we always liked that version. I remember we used to watch it once a year, of course, when you had to wait for it to be on TV, right? And we watch it every year. But that was Gene Wilder. I mean, think about it. Pure imagination, right? That's Willy Wonka.
Oh my God, I get so misty. I know that when they first see him come out and I heard that he made that all up where he comes out of his factory and he's looking like he's limping and then suddenly he just trips and he falls and he springs up and he's like a gymnast. I heard that he just made that up on the fly and they went with it, as he did so many things when he was doing that role. But this is a fun fact, Len.
I like fun facts.
Chris Clare, who's the PD of Cat Country here in Cincinnati, his grandmother was a tutor on the set of that movie.
Wow.
And they all signed, I want to say he has a script that they gave her where they all signed it. But I was like, my son played Augustus Gloop in a production here in town. And when Chris told him that, he was like, oh my gosh, how cool to be the tutor of all those kids.
That's awesome. I'm starving.
and the girl that
Violet.
Violet, who turned Violet.
Yeah.
She was allergic to the dye. She couldn't get it out, and she went back to real school, and she still had the blue on her, and she got made fun of. And there's just so many cool stories.
There is, and I love that movie. He has all his dinners served to him at the. He never comes to the table. He has the TV dinners, Mike TV, and of course, There's Veruca. I mean, Veruca was, Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa now. I want,
Yeah, and the actress that played her was actually really poor. Like she was a great actress because she had no idea what being wealthy was like. I don't think those kids made a lot of money, but I remember her saying that she'd come from a very poor background.
Yeah. Julie Dawn Cole. So the actors were Peter Ostrom, who played Charlie, and it was Julie Dawn Cole, Michael Bolner, Paris Themin, Denise Nickerson, and Charlie Bucket, Veruca Salt, Augustus Gloop. So yeah, Veruca was Julie Dawn Cole, and she's still around, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Augustus Gloop. So Mike TV was Paris Themin, and they appeared for a virtual reunion on Yahoo Entertainment in honor of the 50th anniversary. So I can't believe it's been 50 years, but I will watch it again in honor of it. I love it, and it's I want an Oompa Loompa as well.
I want an everlasting gobstopper.
Everlasting gobstopper. Oh, look, it's a turkey. It's a roast beef sandwich. Yeah, that's stop eating it. Yeah, I like what he is. Stop! Don't stop. There's so many good ones.
He doesn't really want him to stop.
No, it doesn't really want him to stop. One interesting story, getting away from Willy Wonka a bit and getting back to your dog story. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a dog that went missing in South Carolina, and I believe about around 8 hours later, because they were looking for the dog, they couldn't find it. About 3 a.m., the dog actually rang the doorbell at 3 a.m., hitting the doorbell. How great is that?
What a smart dog.
See? Yeah. So
my dogs only scratch the door and ruin the page. I'm like, can't you aim for the doorbell?
Exactly. Do something, right? Make it,
Yeah.
but that's awesome. The ring the doorbell. Now with the camera, I guess, everybody's got the Ring doorbell.
Oh, that's true.
It's a little bit different. But yeah, they were able to find the dog, and the dog came home after a little bit of he got scared from fireworks. I should have brought that up earlier.
Yeah, that's another thing though. If your dogs are scared of fireworks, you need to make sure that they are, you need to make sure they have their dog tags on, because they will run away. If you have people over and they leave the door open, your dog is gone. Like, you need to make sure that you don't let that happen, and two, that they have ID on them. If it does, so you can get your dog back.
Absolutely. So, Amanda, you are one part of the morning show, but a very important part, of course, with Jim and Amanda on Warm 98. Why don't you give a little plug to your show, and so how people can listen? I know now people can consume it in many different ways as opposed to just listening it on 98.5 FM.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You can enable it in your Alexa. Oh. You can listen to it on any streaming app that you may have, or iHeart or whatever. You can pull it up on your computer. You can take it with you just as a regular radio. And yes, 5:30 to 10. You can, after a month of cicadas slapping your car, this week you can win a Mike's Car Wash booklet.
Wow.
So many car washes at 6:40 with our one question quiz. And you know what? And play a round of Can't Beat Amanda. We always have great prizes. That's like at 7:00. We always have great prizes for that, and it's super fun. And some people don't even care about the prize, because I know it's hard to believe, Len, but sometimes I'm a little obnoxious.
Never.
In my bragging area. And so I will squawk if I win, because I never know when I'll lose and I won't be able to. So I make the most of it. And some people just want to take me down just to make me shut up.
Yes, and I'm with you on this. And I actually, so this is many years ago, but I was doing traffic on a radio station on Long Island in New York, and I was part of the morning show as well.
Sure.
And I had gone away the week before and went and won a contest, a trivia contest, because I've got a lot of useless information in my head, as you know.
Yes.
As you know.
So yeah, that's how I ended up in radio.
Exactly. So they thought it would be a great idea to have beat Len on a trivia contest. So in the beginning, nobody could beat me, right? But then everybody got smart. After a week, everybody starts looking up stuff, and they're before, it's funny, the internet had just been in its infancy stages where you could look stuff up. And, I was great. They would do TV, from the 70s and 80s. Like that was easy for me. Sports, anything sports. So what's funny is they started to get like really tough questions. So at one point, there was a real tough question. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I did not know the answer to it. But I went ahead and I was, as I'm there, I've got the computer right up and I typed and I got the answer and I said the answer and then I said, I'm sorry, but I got the right answer, but I cheated. I could not do it, so I had to admit. So that was the last of the beat Len. But I understand what you're saying. It's like so competitive that I actually had to look it up because I didn't want to lose.
Yeah, you get so scared, like you'll know the answer, but your brain goes blank, or you get stuck on a possible answer, and then you can't unstick your brain from that. That's not it. That's not it. But then that's all I could think is the wrong answer, and it drives me crazy when I know it and I can't think of like the name. But or there'll be decades where I don't know stuff because, as I tell Jim, I actually had a life back then, in the 90s or the early 2000s, and I was actually out on dates and stuff. Like,
wow.
I didn't watch those shows, and so now he's like, when he wants me to lose, he'll be like, "I'm going to ask you about medical shows." I hate medical shows.
You do, and so you were not an ER fan. You didn't like. Wow, that's interesting. Not even what's it, McDreamy? What's the other?
Nope.
You didn't watch that either.
Nope.
Okay, well, I didn't watch. I watched ER, but I didn't watch the other one.
That's Grey's Anatomy. I know that's Grey's Anatomy, though.
Yeah, look at that. See, I was trying to stump you a little bit, but I didn't even know the show's name. I know McDreamy. That was what remember Patrick. Is it Sweeney? Now he was in a movie. Do you remember?
Patrick Dempsey.
Dempsey. Sorry, Sweeney Dempsey. I don't know. But did you remember the movie he was in? Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh yeah,
1987.
A few times, yeah.
And the famous scene on the lawnmower after when she puts the hat on.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was a good movie. I actually enjoyed that movie. Kind of silly movies in the 80s that we remember. And I'm like you.
John Hughes film, because John Hughes made tons of those great.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to. I don't remember exactly, but there's so many good movies like that, or at least we thought they were good movies. I try to get my kids to watch, like even Ferris Bueller. I got my kids to watch it, and it was like not as like you didn't like this movie, or it wasn't like it was okay. Yeah, it's like but you really
too much. I think for them these days, there's too much talking in these movies.
Oh my goodness.
Ferris Bueller. I mean, that was like the best.
Well, the only thing my son did say back then was when he did watch it, he said, "Well, you're really giving me an idea to skip school." So I guess he's pretty smart. So there you go.
Yeah,
He's able to.
Oh, there was a great movie. Do you remember Better Off Dead?
Oh, that's my wife's favorite. I want my $2.
I want my $2.
Lane Meyer and the Howard Cosell. Oh God.
I love that movie.
Can I date Beth? Yeah. Can we date Beth? That was from Better Off Dead, right? The teacher says to him. Which he was part of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Do you remember that movie as well? The teacher was also part of that movie.
I vaguely remember that.
Okay.
The one thing I remember most about that overshadowed Fast Times at Ridgemont High was I saw it. I was too young to see it, and I went with my friends. My parents actually dropped us off. I went with my friends, and they said, "Oh, parents have to go in with it at her age. They're gonna have to go in." So my parents ended up coming to the movie with us. They couldn't just drop us off because we were too young. So we sat separate from them. But there was a sex scene.
Oh yes.
In the baseball field, and I was like so mortified that my parents were watching it and I was watching it, even though I wasn't sitting with them.
Yes.
I don't remember anything else in that movie. I just being mortified.
You were mortified, and I apologize for you on that. That was the stereo salesman that she was with, and then there was another scene with Mike Damone in the pool house. But that I won't. You need to go. Yeah, you need to go back and watch it. The stuff. Charles Jefferson tickets. Yeah, I remember. But the getting back to Better Off Dead. That was a classic. The guys. I want my $2.
And I remember, of course, even back then, the scene that stuck out to me had to do with the radio when he gets dumped.
Yeah.
And every song on the radio is about getting dumped or something like that. And so he eventually just rips the radio out and tosses it out of the car. And for the rest of my life, like whenever I had a relationship issue like that where I got dumped, I'm like, oh my God, It's so true. It's like it seems like that's all the songs are about. Just rubbing it in.
Just rub it in. I love it. And I just think that John Cusack, probably one of his best movies, that and Grosse Point Blank, I like. So,
Yes,
uh,
that was good too. And
yeah,
another I barely remember, but I remember I loved it. And his sister was in that one too,
yeah,
right?
I love her
Yeah.
too. She's
Mhm.
great. She was in 16 Candles also. They
Yeah, she's
both were in that. They both were in 16 Candles, if you remember. What's the happening? Hot stuff. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Joan Cusack, she's actually, as unlike a lot of uh, actresses, as she has gotten older, she's gotten more and more roles. She was in Shameless. She was
Yes.
awesome in Shameless.
Yes, I loved her in that. Yes.
She's like a fine wine. She just gets better. I think she has more work these days than he does.
Exactly. And I think she's probably better. I mean, she was in the Adams Family. She was in so many different
Oh,
roles.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
she played Uncle Fester's
Wife.
wife,
Or,
and yeah,
or
well, she
yeah.
was trying to steal the money from him, or whatever. Do you remember that? See, I don't want no spoiler alert, right, for Adam's Family.
Yeah.
We,
Even though it's been out for
yeah, a few
you know,
years. Yeah,
yeah.
early '90s. Christina Ricci actually was from Montclair, New Jersey, which wasn't that far from where I was. I remember when she got the part. It was in the Newark Star Ledger. It was like a big article that she was in it. She's been in a lot of good movies, but I believe she was getting typecasted to a lot of dark roles,
Yes.
which she's can do anything. She's very. That's the only thing I don't like about Hollywood is like they always, typecast you, and then there's people that like it and don't like it, and they don't embrace it either. So it's kind of interesting. But Christina Ricci played. Was it Wednesday? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I like actors that can really transform themselves into different, and I think they would prefer that too. They don't want to play the same role every time, you know.
and I've
Right.
brought this up a couple of times. There's certain actors or actresses that if they're in one scene, it's always memorable, right? There's certain
Right.
people that you always remember. Kathy Bates is one of them. She could be like the simplest small role. She was
Yes.
in what is that? True Colors. What's the movie where John Travolta plays like Bill Clinton? It's something Colors. Primary
Oh,
Primary Colors. I don't
uh,
know. I don't know. But
you might be right.
she was in that movie, but she also was in 6 Feet Under. She played a little bit of a role. She was in Mike and Molly. She just has, and she was also in. She played Two and a Half Men. She steals the scene every movie that she's ever in,
Yeah. Oh,
and
she's
you
like P.S.
remember.
I Love You. I love that movie. P.S. I Love You. She was
Yes,
the that. Yeah,
and of
she's
course
fantastic.
Misery.
Misery. Oh, yeah. For a while, I couldn't even look at her.
No,
But that would be. I would love to be like it. Like if I could do it all over, I would love to be a character actress like that.
yeah.
Or, well, she's made it more than that, but just not to be the star, but just to be super memorable in what I contributed to it. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters like that, but certain actors and actresses they steal the scene, and no matter what they're in, they do a great job. Christopher Lloyd is another one
Yes.
from 1.21 gigawatts, Marty, right? Um, he was also every movie he's in, it always comes up. He was also Jim Ignatowski from Taxi, and it was like the favorite scene. What does a yellow light mean? And slow down, Jim. He's taking his driving test, and he goes, "What does a yellow light mean?" So that was classic. But he was also in Star Trek. It's like there's certain
He
lines
was
that
in Star Trek.
yeah, he was in the search for not the search for Spock, but the Wrath of Khan. I think he was in
Okay.
with in the movie, not Star
Okay.
Trek the series, Star Trek the movie.
Right. Sure.
Um,
Okay.
and there's certain like I always find it interesting about Christopher Lloyd is that you don't recognize him until he comes with the kind of Jim Ignatowski, the Doc Brown voice, and every once in a
Right.
while it's
Yeah.
like you hear it's like Captain Kirk, get the Genesis device, and it's like all of a sudden you're like, man, that's Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
I don't think they could remake. That's another movie, Back to the Future. Don't remake it. It's great the way it is, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, Amanda, we could talk all day on this, but I know you have things to do, probably better than being on here. You and your family have a wonderful 4th of July. Now, you can, just like you can for Warm 98, you can like Lens Burning Bush on Facebook at Lens Burning Bush. You can follow at Lens Burning Bush on Twitter, YouTube channel now. So I
look
upload,
at you.
I upload now. Nobody's subscribing, so please do. But you can all of the audio portions of today's program goes up to YouTube as well, and it's Len Harvey, and you can. It's got if you want to look for it, you can do the hashtag Len's Burning Bush on there because they wouldn't let me change to a business page. I don't know how that works, but I'll have to figure that out. But it's just Len Harvey, and it's on YouTube. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio. And yes, you could ask Alexa to play Len's Burning Bush, but make sure you say Len's Burning Bush podcast because I don't want other things to come up.
Who knows what could come
Yeah,
up.
who knows what? But we're on Pandora now and Stitcher and all these things. But
Oh,
Amanda Orlando, it is so great. 2 times, I hope you'll do it again because it's
I
just so much.
loved it. This is so fun.
Well, we try to, try to make it fun. I can't believe 65 episodes. I guess I could retire now at 65, right? That's the
I think you get a card or something. You can go get some coupon. You can get deals now at Denny's.
Oh, hey, that's worth everything. I can get a Grand Slam breakfast now. That's the ultimate thing for 65 episodes of Len's Burning Bush. But well, thanks, Amanda Orlando. It is a pleasure. Hope you and your family stay well and healthy through this. I'm Len Harvey. I'll be back with another episode of Len's Burning Bush next week. So long.